I find the word cozy to be dreadfully overused when assigning genres to video games these days, but it's hard to find another adjective that so perfectly captures what I love about Dragon Quest. Straightforward but rewarding turn-based combat paired with a classic hero's journey told in a picturesque fantasy world result in a wonderfully traditional RPG experience I've always found so comforting. So when I was given the choice at a recent preview event to try out Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake on either PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch, the choice to settle in on the couch in the Switch's handheld mode was an easy one. And rest assured, Switch owners, Dragon Quest III looked and ran great on the aging Nintendo system. Square Enix's other HD 2D games like Octopath Traveler and Live Alive were perfect for playing in short bursts before bed, and Dragon Quest III is looking to fit that mold as well. Unlike our first look at Dragon Quest III's remake, which showed off how faithfully it's sticking to the roots of the 30-plus-year-old NES RPG, the hour I played Dragon Quest III was spent with some of the remake's brand new additions. And so far, I'm extremely pleased with the new content that spruces things up without unrecognizably transforming the original experience. First, I hung out in the revamped Monster Arena, where you can send monsters you defeated and recruited throughout the game to do battle against other teams of creatures. In the original Dragon Quest III, you could simply bet on the outcome of fights in the Monster Arena, but this remake lets you get in on the action yourself. Monster collecting has been a big part of both the main Dragon Quest games and the Monster spin-off series for decades, and it's great to see that legacy continue here. I entered the arena with a preset team of a Slime, Heel Slime, and Spiked Hair, but this side mode is clearly set up for me to make my own teams with monsters I recruit across the main game. You don't directly command your team in the Monster Arena tournament, but rather set how they should act in battle from 4 distinct options: Show No Mercy, Fight Wisely, Focus on Healing, and Don't Use MP. For the first few rounds, I instructed my Heel Slime to focus on healing its allies, while the Slime and Spiked Hair dealt all the damage, but once I realized I had this fight in the bag, I had my whole team go all out. This monster auto-battler seems like a fun distraction from the main adventure, and I can see myself swinging by regularly to fine-tune my team and enter them in tournaments. While watching my team do battle, I found myself mesmerized by the enemy character models. I felt that Dragon Quest and the HD 2D art style were a match made in heaven since this remake's initial reveal. And seeing it in action confirmed how much I love seeing these classic enemies in Square Enix's enticing art direction. The Killer Pillar, an evil caterpillar if you couldn't guess, I faced in my first fight had a very detailed idle animation where it bounced back and forth, and the way it wriggled its entire body when gearing up for an attack made the whole turn-based fight feel so much more dynamic. The same can be said of the awesome character models for Robin Hood and his set of Robin Hoodlums, the boss fight I faced at the top of Skyfell Tower. Ascending the tower was a classic atmospheric dungeon experience filled with random encounters. Here, I was impressed with how flexible Dragon Quest III's combat system is. Remember those 4 preset orders I could assign to my team in the Monster Arena? In Dragon Quest III's core combat, those presets are still available to you, with the added option of follow orders. This means you can rip through the low-stakes random encounters in a dungeon by telling all 4 of your party members to show no mercy, but when a challenging boss fight begins, you can take control of every decision to ensure you emerge victorious. This, combined with the ability to crank up the battle speed whenever you like, adds to that cozy, relaxing game feel I mentioned earlier. It's enjoyable to kick back and watch the experience points roll in during the low-level fights that only take a few seconds at max speed, but when I reached the top of the tower to face off against Robin Hood, I wanted to make every choice myself. And it's a good thing I did take control of the boss fight, because it was a nail-biter. I had to use my priest to heal my party several times, while my protagonist and Monster Wrangler, which is a new class introduced to the remake, dealt the heavy blows. I let out a big sigh of relief when Robin Hood finally fell to the ground, and it just made me want to rush straight to the next dungeon to face off against the next big boss. I also want to shout out this remake's new party customization feature. The party members in Dragon Quest III are blank slates, but the remake revamps Patty's Party Planning Place, a tavern where you can design your own party members, choosing their class, name, appearance, hair color, and voice. There aren't very many customization options, but enough to make a rudimentary version of myself that I inserted into my party. I imagine players will have a ton of fun customizing their party and making changes to it throughout the game.
You must be the hero of Aliahan.
Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake is out November 14th on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, with Dragon Quest I and II HD-2D Remake arriving sometime next year.
See ya!
For more on HD-2D games, don't miss our reviews of Octopath Traveler 2 and Live Alive. And for everything else in the world of video games, stick with IGN.